question I get asked a lot is, what is the best book to buy to study animation? Unfortunately, that is a really easy question to answer, because the number one best book for the study of animation is this, The Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams. I should confess, I do have some skin in this game. You can see this is actually this is a first edition of the book, up to October 25th, 2005. There's a nice 2001. There's a nice inscription from Dad up there. This book took him years to write, and even longer, obviously, to learn the important skills that go into the book. But what I love about it is that there's so much in it, and I find that if I ever get stuck on a shot, I can just flick through it and find a section that's relevant to what I'm doing. And it's a kind of inspiration. It reminds you of the principles of animation, stuff that maybe you learned and then kind of forgot, or you don't quite remember them as well as you ought to remember them. So you can just flick through this book and find inspiration as you're working. And one of the really nice things about it is that, when you're working on a screen, or even if you've got two screens at home, and I always recommend to my students, if you can, get two screens. So get yourself a laptop, but then get yourself an extra screen, so that you can, if you're following a tutorial, you can watch the tutorial on one screen and then do the tutorial on another. But there's never quite enough screen space, especially as Maya has become, Maya being the main animation software we animate with, especially as Maya has grown more complex over the years, and they've added more and more buttons. And more, and the icons have got smaller and smaller. It's hilarious, actually. If you look at a screen grab from the original Maya 1.0 that we used on the Iron Giant back in 1997 and 1998, you will see that the icons are huge compared with the current version of Maya, because they've added more and more stuff, and so the icons have got smaller. So there's never enough screen space. Everything is always too small. You can't see it clearly enough, or maybe it's just me getting older. With my eyesight not being as good as it used to be. But this is, having a book is like another screen, right? Because you've got your thumbnails, you've got all the stuff you need to figure out how to animate the shot. If somebody says animate a take, a reaction shot, you've got all this great stuff on takes. You're doing lip sync, you've got all this great information on lip sync. You're doing a walk cycle, there's all this great information on walk cycles. And it's like having an extra screen that you can call on while you've got your other two screens where you're watching a tutorial, and another screen where you're following one. So I recommend the Animator's Survival Kit. It is quite big. This is not the expanded edition. The expanded edition is even bigger and heavier. So it's kind of tough to drag it around in your rucksack if you're going into school. But if you're working from home, it's a fantastic thing to have on the shelf. You can see I've got the DVD series over there on the shelf as well. But the book is the one that I always return to time and time again. Old school, easy to use, sits on the desk next to your high-tech equipment, and it's still as useful to me as it always was.